Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern
here in lovely Northern Virginia. Studios of DMVSTREAM.COM. I'm your host, Winston, Hylton. You are looking live at another edition of Redskins Relaunch. Thank you very much for joining us. Hey, look, what do you know? What is this thing that's called what is this? We got my man over here hitting the switches over here, Nick, man. What is this thing that they call, like, when you win, games in a row? What is that? I don't know.
I think it's called a winning streak.
A winning streak.
It has happened before.
Winning? Is it the long I winding streak or winning streak? Because I'm not quite sure, because the Redskins haven't had one in a long time. We've had a lot of losing streaks. I mean, but we now have a winning streak, which is fantastic. Redskins coming away with a 29-21 win in Charlotte over the Carolina Panthers. You could say a lot of different things about this game. The fact that they came back after being in the whole 14-zip. You can say the running game was showed improve, basically. They stuck with it. Darius Geis had over 100 yards. Adrian Peterson had under just 99 yards. You can say a lot of things. You can say Dwayne Haskins was, instrumental in the win. You can say that he showed a lot of progression in Sunday's game. You can say a lot of different things, but one thing that you definitely have to say about this team is that they are actually playing better. They're playing a little bit more disciplined. How many penalties did this team have in Charlotte? Not many. Not many, as compared to, beginning of the season when literally every drive would have a hold and you'd be 1st and 20 off the jump. So that's one thing that you can definitely take away from this game. Coming up in the show, we're going to grade Dwayne Haskins. What did you think about his performance? I want your letter grade, A, B, D, C, or E, or F. How do you think he did in the pocket? How do you think he did handling blitzes? How do you think he did with protection calls as well as throwing the ball? We'll say he threw the ball a lot better this time. We'll get to that later on in the show. Plus, the lack of faith in Dwayne has actually kind of started to turn. You talk to people around the streets in Washington, D.C., and you hear some people saying that, you know what, let's give the kid a chance. Okay, great. But, I mean, when he first got the starting nod and the game after that, even when he came in to substitute for Case Keenum and what have you, a lot of people were on the fence. And on the fence on the negative side, like, okay, we got to get rid of this kid because he has not shown improve. Listen, professionals do take time to mature. They take time. You have to cultivate those skills in order to become a great NFL quarterback. I was going to say good, but he's not quite at the good section yet. Those things take a little bit of time. And considering this kid has only started 18 games, I believe it is, in his college and pro career, give him a chance. We'll talk about the grade here coming up in a second. Plus, Darius Geis. I would probably have to say that he's kind of busted on the scene at this point. I mean, look, you all saw the stiff arm. Yeah, he stiff-armed his way kind of into the mentality or into the minds of defensive coaches now because they know that he's going to be a problem. Hopefully now fully healthy, it seems as if he's fully healthy. He's making a big impact on this Redskins offense. Also, play the youngins is what we said once Callahan took the job. And guess what? They're making plays. Whether it be Harmon, whether it be Terry McLaurin, Jimmy Moreland, these guys are making plays. Montez Sweat actually is having quietly a pretty good season. So all of these things combined, let these young kids play. Let's see what they can do, and they're kind of showing improvement now at this point. You say all of these things to ask yourself, just how bad are the Panthers? Or is it that the Redskins were just better, or we kind of underestimated them, or we overestimated the Panthers? Let's talk about that a little bit later in the show. Plus, we'll talk about keys to the game in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron. Aaron, that great Key and Peele sketch from years past. Aaron, if you don't Google it, everybody, you'll enjoy it. But he just ripped up the Giants. What is he going to do against the Redskins come Sunday in Lambeau? We'll take a look. Plus, we'll go around the NFL. The Saints, Falcons, Steelers, Miami, Cincinnati, Rams, they all win. We'll go over those games. Plus the Caps, they trade Chandler Stevenson. What's going on with that? What are we doing here with the Caps? They're off to the hottest start, but Stevenson was one of those guys that was not necessarily a cog or a key into the Stanley Cup run, but he definitely did have some big moments in that Stanley Cup run of 2018. We'll go over that later on in the show. Plus, the Wizards, they might be the worst of all time. They just might be the worst of all time. We'll dip into that later on. Plus, Hoya paranoia or just Hoya hysteria. Either way, I don't know what's going on over there. Just got a statement from the school 2 seconds ago, so we'll talk about that a little bit later on the show concerning a couple of key players that decided to, that the school kicked off the team or the coaching staff kicked out of the program. Plus the Terps, they're third ranked. Too high, too low, just right. I mean, it's been a long time since the Terps have had a team like this. The last time they had a team like this, they had, a whole bunch of guys that, they haven't done anything. Have not done a thing. So we'll talk about that later on the show. Plus, but first, let's get to the Redskins. First of all, happy holidays to everybody. I hope everybody had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I wanted to get everybody's reaction as to, look, it's now the Wednesday after Thanksgiving, okay? And I don't know about you, but, in my household, if there are leftovers that are there, guess what's happening? Those leftovers are going to you got to eat those leftovers until they're gone. Leftovers in my house are not gone yet, so I've been shamed at several places for saying that I got to finish all my food. I got to finish. Look, I'm a clean to play club. I'm a clean to play kid. If you don't get up you don't get up from the table unless you have cleaned your plate.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, I am a clean the fridge kind of guy. Okay, so you got to make sure the turkey's all cut. If you're not going to eat the turkey like that, then make your sandwiches or cut it up and make a turkey salad. You got to do something with that because you're not throwing it away. But what realistically is the cutoff? And I don't know how we got from here to the Redskins, but what is the cutoff as far as Thanksgiving leftovers are concerned? What say you?
For me, I'm like you. If they're there, I'm going to eat them. Some of the best food we're having all year. Doesn't matter. I would say probably Sunday, you can start that new week off. You're going to be at work probably the last day. But if you have them, I'm eating them. In my family, they don't last past Friday. A lot of big eaters. So, unfortunately, I don't have any more left like you.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, here's the thing. You know what it is? Here's the problem. The people that say that you have to – I've heard a lot of people say Monday. All right, so that's their first day back at work. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to kind of brag or boast about your Thanksgiving meal that you had. You can't show and prove if everything is already gone, right? So by Monday, people are like, well, yeah, it should be gone. That's because your food wasn't good. That's why. Nobody else wanted to finish the rest of your food. The food that I prepared for Thanksgiving was fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to finish all of it, and all of it's going to be good. Now, mind you, okay, acceptable rules for, whether or not the food is going to spoil, this, that, and other. I mean, if you got a fridge, you got some ice, go ahead and put your food in the refrigerator so it doesn't get bad, okay? Number one. Number two, if it's still there, you could go ahead and eat it, all right? Now, if it smells, I mean, this is common sense things, if it smells bad, you probably want to let it go.
Dump it.
Probably want to let it go. But if it doesn't and it still smells good, go for it. So at this point for me, I'm just going to go ahead and say, all right, you got a week to go ahead and kill those leftovers, okay? You got a week. You got until that Thursday. So you have 7 days. Not a work week, which is 5. You have 7 days to go ahead and completely thrash that Thanksgiving meal that maybe you or a loved one prepared. At this point, I would say everybody go ahead and get whatever Thanksgiving leftovers you got, get it in now because, tomorrow night would probably be the last time you are able to eat it. Or lunch tomorrow, man. Lunch tomorrow is going to be fantastic. I already I'm gonna have my mouth is salivating for a little turkey sandwich. It's almost like one of my favorite sandwiches from a local sandwich shop you have the kind of like a turkey on a sandwich. So you got the turkey, you got the stuffing on there, you got some cranberry sauce on there with a little bit of stuffing,
Gravy on
a
top.
little bit of kind of gravy deal on top, toasted sandwich roll. Please, oh my gosh. Okay, now that we've gotten rid of that, the Redskins. Who would have thought that this team would be 4-4 in the month of November? Not I. I mean, yeah, that game against the Jets, that was kind of the sinker as far as, the morale. But, that next week, Bill Callahan went to the team, kind of fired them up. As some of the players would say, he kind of tore them a new one. And, they've played a whole heck of a lot better since they've done that. Matter of fact, against the Panthers, the Redskins were down 14-zip. I mean, early. The first two Carolina drives, they just drove down the field and just went into the end zone. Matter of fact, ex-Terps DJ Moore caught that touchdown and made it 14-zip. And, what's funny is that, let's hear from Bill Callahan about how mentally the team was after the Panthers took that 14-zip lead.
We've been down before, and we've been patient, and we've come back. And I think that when you're down 14, you can easily panic and all of a sudden start shifting gears too quickly and too fast. I thought that Kevin did a great job just staying patient and trusting the running game. And we had pretty good success throwing it as well with Dwayne's progression. But I think just the ability to stay with the run early. We didn't have quite the success that we wanted to. We didn't have a lot of runs. There was a lot of things we liked in the passing game that we wanted to feature. And, sometimes you hit on it, sometimes you don't.
Coach Tim always talks about silencing the noise, and we got down early, but one series at a time, one play at a time. And as we continue to play, you saw the score coming more in our direction, and we would just keep fighting, chipping away, and defense played a hell of a game today. And just knowing that we can trust special teams to make great plays, defense make big plays, and when we finally get it going as the offense, we can be really good as far as running the ball and play passing and shots on the field. So I feel like we are doing a great job coming together.
I just think the ability to stay with your running game and not give up on it, and know that it's a long game. And we relied on the defense, and a lot of credit goes to those guys. Creating the 3 and outs and the 4 and outs that they had throughout the course of the game. I think it would be a different game if the game got away from us a little bit more. But the game was still in hand, and it was early on, so there was no reason to abandon any run type thinking at that time.
All right, you heard Bill Callahan, and it's funny, Nick. In the break, during that side, we were both listening. It was like, all right, number one, you ask Bill Callahan one question, and half an hour later, he's done with the answer. That's number one. He's very long-winded, which is, it is what it is. But number two, listening to him in a lot of his press conferences, it's like, if he was a professor or a teacher in your class, could you theoretically stay awake for that entire time? Would you be able to? I almost fell asleep in minute 30 that thing ran. I'm like, it's a good thing that I had a little bit of Joe in order to wake me up, because woo.
And he's talking football. Imagine if he was talking geometry or something like that. Stay awake.
Bruh. And like some of the players say, when Callahan ripped them a new one in that, the team-only meeting or what have you, he used a lot of words that probably he would not have used in public. So that probably would have woke a lot of people up. But, in front of a microphone, yeah, man, we got to liven you up a little bit. I guess you can't have it good both ways, because Jay was a little bit better at that point in that realm. He was able to, shoot the breeze, so to speak, with media, and he had funny quips and isms that he would say to the media. But in that bite, he was talking about how the team mentally, they kind of stuck with what their game plan was. They didn't panic. They were able to stay with the run game, which was very key, and them getting back into the game, as well as defensively. I don't think everybody talks about Geis. Everybody talks about Haskins and AP and what have you offensively, but the defense kind of shut things down. Christian McCaffrey did not have a good day at all. Kyle Allen, Josh Allen, one of the Allens, he did not have a great day at all. Sacked several times, throw 2 picks, fumbled a couple. He did not have defense had a lot of pressure on him which was fantastic. What was our deal last week? I think I said here with Maurice Hawkins, I said the defense was going to have at least 5 to 6 sacks.
Yes, sir.
And boom, 5 to 6 sacks. They had 6 sacks. So yeah, look, I'm just a guy. I'm just another guy that has a microphone in front of him, just talking stuff. And when I said that if the Redskins have X amount of sacks, they're probably going to win the game. And when they have met that challenge, they have won games. That's 3 times. When they have not met the challenge, yeah, I'm just saying. If you want to follow my bets, so be it. You can log on right here. Add me at Sports Talk over here. Oh, Sports Talk NC8. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we got that. So do what you do. After the game, Callahan also had a lot to say about Dwayne Haskins and his progression. Haskins played pretty well in this game on Sunday. Although, he did not throw for 500 yards. He didn't throw for 4 touchdowns, but, he did well. And what everybody has been saying and looking for is for him to progress, to get better each and every week. No regression. And here's what Callahan had to say about Dwayne Haskins as far as his mechanics were concerned, as well as his feet. Here's what he had to say.
This game was interesting relative to his base, where he should be, where his feet should be aligned, and where his footwork should be aligned, with the throw and also the progression. So as you progress through a throw, your feet and legs have to kind of follow that line of trajectory, which he did extremely well. That's where we see a huge, huge improvement in his game. So he worked his eyes and feet together. There were times, where he did get some pressure, and he showed the ability to move away and step up and make throws, under duress, which was really positive, John. I think the other thing is, there are a couple times where there was a 3rd and 5 situation against a nickel front where the defensive tackles were aligned very wide, and he saw some green grass and felt he could take it and ran himself into a delayed TE game, so I think that's a learning situation for him. And then there was one towards, the 2 minute, I think towards the end of the game where he runs out of the pocket and he feels green grass and he makes a decisive run, gets his feet down, makes the slide, picks up the first down. So there's a little bit of a give and take in that world, a little bit of a learning curve, and also making decisions out of the pocket become a little bit, he's a little bit more aware of where he needs to be now than what he was 2 or 3 weeks ago, for that matter. So a lot of progress those guys have done. Kevin and Tim have done a really good job with his fundamentals and with his progression.
All right, welcome back again to Redskins Relaunch. So you heard there, Haskins is using his eyes. His mechanics are good. He's able to, get the ball out of his pocket instead of doing that sidearm thing. He's not able to get a lot of oomph on the ball. So in that aspect, I'm actually quite pleased with his progression and his him getting better as far as his mechanics are concerned. Because if you've heard me on the show before, I said mechanics are going to be everything. Tom Brady is 95 years old and he can still throw the ball, all because of his mechanics, which are kind of, at this point, his arm is kind of failing him now, but if his mechanics are solid, he can at least get by for the rest of the season. Quarterback like Cam Newton, who has, all the talent in the world, his mechanics are bad, and he's hurt right now. So I'm just saying. Mechanics, good. Bad mechanics, not really going to be that good. All right, so, that was really good to see from Dwayne Haskins, him able to, get his mechanics better, his feet better. You saw him follow his eyes. He made the right reads. What we're going to do is we're going to take a break. We're going to grade Dwayne Haskins after the break. Want to hear some more of your comments? Hit us up on Facebook. Hit us up on the Facebook at DMVSTREAM.COM. Leave your comments there as well as on YouTube. Look, we're on all platforms. We got Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Tinder, Reddit, Zelle, all of the Cash App. We're on Cash App too. I mean, if you want to leave a little bit, yeah, you can do that. But we're all over the place. Make sure you check us out. Leave a comment there, or you can hit me up on Sports Talk NC8 on Twitter. We'll be right back. Another Redskins relaunch. We're just getting started.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Redskins Relaunch. Thank you very much for joining us here in lovely Northern Virginia. I want to thank everybody for taking time to check us out on DMVSTREAM.com's page, Facebook page, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you are checking us out at. Make sure you leave a comment. All right, so Dwayne Haskins, we want to hear exactly, you hear Bill Callahan talk about self-scouting. Let's hear a little bit about Dwayne Haskins and how he self-scouted his performance against the Panthers on Sunday.
No, I think I was playing faster than what I needed to, so I was playing myself out of position with certain reads and stuff like that. So now I'm just slowing it down as far as I don't got to speed up my drop every time I feel pressure. I don't have to escape every time I see somebody flash across my face, and I don't got to make the big throw every play. So it was just trusting my eyes, trusting my feet, and making the right reads. It feels great. I come from a winning program, come from a winning background, and of course, the more we win, the better it feels, and the more you want to win and go out there and compete every play, every team we play. So, of course, we like to win the rest of the season, but every game, one game at a time. And it's another opportunity for us to continue to come together as a team, all three phases of the game, and continue to work hard as a young team.
All right, welcome back. You just heard Dwayne Haskins and, him self-scouting, his performance against the Panthers. Again, I like to drive in this. I like to drive in this youngin, and he seems to be, just self-aware of what he is doing and what he's not doing, which you appreciate because he's not the perfect quarterback right now. No, he's not. But there's room to get better, which is what you're looking for, and you want someone that has a mentality like they actually want to learn about the quarterback position, which he definitely seems to, have that mentality like he's a sponge, which we've heard, over many camps and training camps that he has been a sponge to everybody, whether it be Tim Rattay, Kevin O'Connell, as well as Alex Smith and everybody else in the quarterback room there at Redskins Park. All right, so I wanted to get to some of the grades on Dwayne Haskins. How do you feel about how he played? I'll just go over some of my grades. Nick, how about you? How do you think he played against the Panthers?
For me, it's a lot what Dwayne said. It was a big improvement just for him personally. I thought you could just see in the progressions, everything kind of slowed down for him a little bit. And I don't know, that's because of the opponent. Carolina's really reeling right now, but that's still a very good defense with some very good players. You have Vernon Butler, Gerald McCoy on the defensive line, and then Luke Kuechly at linebacker. To be able to put up 30 points on any defense with Luke Kuechly on it, he's a very smart guy, and especially for a rookie, I think you got to hold your head high. And just really on that end alone with the matchup-wise, I think he did a really good job.
Yeah, I would probably say. So where you putting him as a letter grade?
I give him an A-. I mean, when you win, it's hard to get lower than an A, and especially if you put up 29 points. I mean, it's hard to do that when you're the quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's cool. I probably will go a little bit harder. I'm a tough grader, and that's fine. As far as his pocket awareness, I would give that a B. Yes, he did take some sacks. He took a lot of sacks, actually. For a quarterback that actually won the game, he took probably way too many sacks. But where he had taken some of his sacks, he was actually making the right read to scramble and get out of pressure. He just didn't have the physical tools in order to get to a corner or get up the field past the line of scrimmage in order for it not to be a sack. So in that aspect, I give him a B as far as his pocket awareness was concerned. Reading defenses, I give him a C. He made the throws where he needed to make the throws. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that grade to a B. He made the throws. He made the right reads. And I'll get to where I give him a great grade, which is pass protection. Pass protection, he had a B+. He was able to have his lineman in the right slide to the right protection, which is, that's all you want to see. Again, is progression. You want to see him slide everything to where it needs to be. And that he did against the Panthers. Again, like you said, against that front, Gerald McCoy, you have Butler, you have Luke Kuechly. If you can, again, like Nick said, if you can put up 29, 30 points against a Luke Kuechly defense, yeah, I think you're doing something here in the league. As far as the overall grade, I gave him a B, and it would have been an A, but guess who was dropping passes all over the place? I mean, you had so many drop passes. You had Harmon in the end zone, trying to one-hand the ball. Boom, look how easy that is. I mean, don't put up two hands. You got to put up two hands. So, yeah, that's why Harmon dropped a couple of passes. Sprinkle dropped the pass. AP dropped the pass. There were a lot of dropped passes for Dwayne Haskins against the Panthers, which is why, I probably have to drop him down to a B. Had they make those passes, guess what? He gets an A. The Redskins definitely win by more than 2 touchdowns. It would have been at least 38 to 20 or something like that. Because, again, that would have been a touchdown to Harmon. More than likely, sprinkle 2 point. I mean, there were a lot of plays that the Redskins did not make as far as receiving for Dwayne Haskins is concerned. But all in all, yes, he gets a B. Now, a lot of that is that the run game was especially effective. So there was not a lot of pressure on him as far as throwing up the ball 50 times again, on Sunday. So if he had to do that and still produce those numbers, yeah, you can give him an A. But yeah, he had a lot of help as far as the run game was concerned. The pass game, the guys made catches when they needed to. That Harmon catch over the middle in the fourth quarter in order for them to extend that drive, that was key. There were some passes. Chris Thompson made a pass right before the end of the first half, even though that drive ended up in the blocked field goal, but that was still huge because it put them in the scoring chance. So, all in all, yeah, I'll give Dwayne a B for his grade against the Panthers. So that's not bad at all. Not bad at all. So it's great that, number one, the run game was there to help Dwayne. Where has this running game been all season long? Right. What has gone on with look, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get to that right after the break. I want to know exactly what your thoughts are as far as what happened. Where has this offensive line been? Is it new techniques that they're teaching over there in Ashburn? What is going on? What is the mind change over in Ashburn? We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Redskins Relaunch. Be right back.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry.
All right, welcome back to Redskins Relaunch. We are here in beautiful Northern Virginia, the DMVSTREAM.COM studios. Nick is hitting the switches over there. Look, the Redskins have had a tumultuous year.